welcome to In Our Community. My name is Liz Holtz, and I'll be your host for today's show. And I'm proud to introduce our guest for today's show, Gabrielle Antolovich, who is the board president of the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ Community Center in San Jose, California, on the Alameda. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Thank you. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. So, Gabrielle, you've been here before, and we're pleased to have you back again today. And I'm excited to be talking with you about all the things that Billy DeFrank does to foster community, both within the LGBTQ community as well as within the community at large. And one of the things that I would like for us to chat about a little bit is the fact that Billy DeFrank is now turning 35 this year.
Yes, it's our 35th anniversary. And when you think about it, as a nonprofit, that's pretty long, but also as a very specific minority group nonprofit, it's quite extraordinary because we started to keep young people safe from the homophobic dominant culture. It used to be a lot more aggressive and dangerous, especially toward young people, which it still is in many circles, but it was especially that way back in 1981, which now seems like such a long time ago. And so that's how it started. But it has morphed over time. When HIV/AIDS happened, then there was a greater emphasis on gay men, and again, it just kept morphing. And we used to actually be in the parking lot of what is now the new Whole Foods on the Alameda.
Oh!
Yeah, and we've been waiting for Whole Foods, and so we moved further up the Alameda, and now it's a very different community center for a couple of reasons. One is we have gay marriage, shock, horror. It's like, how did that happen? I never thought I would see gay marriage in my lifetime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, the next thing will be a woman president, right?
You never know.
Yeah. For years, people would, swore we would never have a black president.
Well, that's
and
true.
And now we have, had a African-American president for 2 terms now.
Well, Australia and England have had women prime ministers already, so it's old hat for us.
So, speaking of your building on there on the Alameda, you have a nice center there. And, in preparation for your anniversary celebrations, I understand that you've made a few, little renovations and sprucing up a bit.
Well, there's been sprucing up, not just of the building. When I think about it, yes, we have recarpeted, so that's very nice. And we're still working on more renovations. It's one of those things. Once you start, oh my God, something else has to change. And I have to thank Ernst & Young and LifeLock and P&GM and Rebuilding Together. They have helped repaint and clean up and, do a lot to help us out. So it's not just been us. But the other renovation has been internally. We changed our mission statement to include allies because it's not just the LGBTQ community that is addressing these issues, but we now have parents of young children who are coming out transgender or coming out gay younger, and they don't know what to do, so they come to the center. We have gay bingo, but you don't have to be gay to play gay bingo. So, that's very popular too. So on different levels, we have reached out to our allies especially. And well, I really like that. So that's been a sprucing up. And the other thing is we've added the Q to our name so that young queer identified people feel comfortable coming to the Billy DeFrank Center because, you know, we have an old reputation. And, you know, just because we've been around a long time doesn't mean we're like a haunted house, except at Halloween, of course, which is, you know, the gay holiday.
Yes.
But, yeah, we want the young people to feel that the Billy DeFrank Center is for them as well. And it's really funny. It's come full circle because it started off for young people, and then it got older. And, and now we're reaching out. And I have to say, I'm glad that we now have Artsplosion, which is young queer artists who are selling and displaying their art and networking and enjoying being at the DeFrank Center.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then as another one of your anniversary things, you also got the first rainbow crosswalk.
Oh, yeah.
done in San Jose, right in front of the DeFrank Center.
Well, you know, again, this is so extraordinary. We have a new city council and a new mayor, Sam Liccardo, and it really shows it's not like others have not been as supportive, because they have. In fact, it was Mayor Ron Gonzalez and City Council member Ken Yeager, who's now a supervisor, and many others who fought to make sure we had our community center, because we were a redevelopment agency building. And when they went under, there was a big fight so that we could still keep the building rather than it being sold out. So, so it's not as if we haven't been supported, but there's a different ambiance right now, where the mayor, when he heard about the possibility of doing a rainbow crosswalk, you know, you should have seen him light up. It's like it hadn't occurred to him. But once the idea was put in his head, that was it.
It was happening.
Yes, it was happening, and many city council members actually donated money toward the crosswalk, so it actually paid for it. I mean, that in itself is a testament of the support that we are having now from outside into the community. So it's very nice.
Oh, very cool. Well, and you know, one of the things we were talking about is you know, all the different activities you have at the center to bring people in to support the community. And many of the events are also open to, you know, not only the LGBTQ community, but also to their allies and to the
Our supporters,
other supporters in the community. So just some of the things, you have both a library and a cyber room.
Yeah, we have a free cyber center that's funded by the David Bonnet Foundation. They just upgraded the computers, thank goodness, because it's amazing how quickly computers go, you know, become obsolete. And so that's wonderful. And we also have free HIV testing, and we collaborate with Asian Americans for community involvement. They provide the service in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, and they've expanded the hours at the DeFrank Center, so you can go there Monday to Thursday from 4 to 8 o'clock. And everybody goes there. You know, we have a very nice waiting room.
Well, and I understand that people can also come in and be tested completely anonymously if they choose to. And it's not like the old days where you used to come in and take a test and come back like 2 or 3 weeks later. It's a much shorter process now.
Yes, in fact, you can get your results right away.
That is truly amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like you mentioned, there's gay bingo at the center, and that's a weekly event.
It's our weekly fundraising event, and I love that. And what I also love is that different organizations and groups will organize themselves and go en masse. And not only does that help us with our fundraising, but they get to have a lot of fun with their own friends. You know, and so I've reached out to different LGBT groups, but also companies and non-LGBT groups like different churches, and then have the minister be the bingo caller. Yeah, we've had the Santa Clara County Leather Association do kinky bingo. And people love that.
And then, like, once a month, don't you also do drag queen bingo?
Yes, we do drag queen bingo. And that doesn't mean that you go in drag. It means that there are drag performances in between games. And so those nights go a little bit later because people are having a little bit too much fun.
But that's what a community center is for, right?
Absolutely.
It's fostering a community.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, you also have a vintage luncheon that you do for seniors.
Yes. And this is for seniors who are 60 and over, and I'm in that category, but I'm in denial that I'm old. So I oversee the program, and I'm learning so much about my own age group. And what's really interesting to me is that people forget is that the LGBT community that are baby boomers, you know, we're talking people who grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was very homophobic back then. And when you're getting older, more tired, your aches and pains, you can't get around so much, not being able to socialize with your own kind is very hard and depressing. And so having our luncheon program is more than just having lunch. It's about being able to be with other LGBTs. And you know, the other thing we've discovered is, especially with assisted living or communal living, our heterosexual counterparts are far more homophobic than the young people of today. And so that is a harsh reality that a lot of older people in our community feel they have to go back into the closet because they don't have the energy to keep the fight going.
Right.
So we are actually working with the county and many facilities to stop the homophobia from happening and doing specific trainings so that managers and owners can be proactive with people in their facilities so that the LGBTs don't have to go back into the closet. I mean, it just made me cry the first time I heard that. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm cranky and
old.
Yeah.
Old and crotchety and
you know, and I'm hurting, and then somebody's mean to me because I'm gay? Oh, heck.
Yeah.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
And so my heart goes out to that whole issue. And so we're now connecting with all the senior commissions and
very cool.
Age-Friendly San Jose. And the county has just decided and declared that it wants to be age-friendly. So we're at the table everywhere saying, age-friendly means us too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Fabulous. And one of the other things that I love that you do at the Billy DeFrank Center is that when holidays come around, you always have a luncheon, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Halloween, different times of the year. You always have a luncheon to provide a space for people who may not have family here.
Absolutely. I mean, we even do Valentine's, and we did Mother's Day this year as well. You know, we did this joke, bring your mother. Either that or bring yourself so you can be with your mother later.
Right.
You know, and the whole point of Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day is so that you can be with your own kind and your friends, and then whatever you have to face with family or not, you can handle that better.
Right, right, because you've already gotten yourself into a good space, and you feel supported.
Absolutely.
Before going, you know, and families can be trying for everyone, regardless
well,
of
even if
orientation.
they like you, it's trying. There's something about families
Family
getting together.
dynamics
Even the ones that like each other.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, the other thing is, you know, Billy DeFrank also is doing some things out in, you know, in the community, and to become more connected. I know that,
you know, some of it, though, is, yes, we want to do that, but some of it has been reaching out to us. A really good example is our board of directors wanted to be more family friendly. Now that gay marriage is now a reality.
Acceptable.
A lot more LGBTs are having children, adopting children, even though that's been happening a lot anyway, but now it's more. And I was wondering, how are we going to be family friendly? You know, the building is not really made for that. So a miracle happened. The Children's Discovery Museum reached out to a lot of LGBTQ organizations like the Billy DeFrank Center because they want to become LGBT friendly, and they're already family friendly, and they have the equipment. I mean, that's who they are. And so to me, that was the best collaboration ever. Not only are they doing a Pride family, you know, weekend, but they want to be permanently inclusive of LGBT families. And you know, one of the things they're doing is, you know, their logo is the shape of their building. Well, they've made their logo with a rainbow.
oh, very nice.
Yes. And so they're going to just have that around. And, you know, their little dragon up on their roof, I said, why don't you have the dragon hold
have a rainbow flag.
Right. But, you know, that is a really good example of, you know, them reaching out to us, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. And, you know, the Minority Consortium, who is a special group that wants to make sure that minorities have access to government jobs and grants. So they just recently opened up their Minority Consortium to not just be ethnically minority consortium, but also included veterans and the LGBT businesses.
Community as well.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And so they had a very special event, and they asked us, how could they reach out to our community? So, of course, I said, put a rainbow in your poster, which they did, and also put all of our logos on it so that people can trust that you are for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you've been actually quite active out in creating all these different relationships with different groups. You did the National Night Out recently.
Yes.
Over at St. James Park.
I used to do the National Night Out in my day job work for many years in substance use prevention, keeping teenagers safe. And so it was really nice that they reached out to the Billy DeFrank Center this year and said, do you want to join us? And I went, oh, I didn't even think of that. So there we were at St. James Park. And there were so many people there I knew, including some of the more famous people, you know, from K-Bay. And then we had Cindy Chavez, one of our county supervisors, showed up. Yeah. Yeah,
and then, you know, the other thing is I understand that the Rainbow Chamber of Commerce is having an event coming up that is to help celebrate the DeFrank's 35th
Well, actually, it was the other way around.
Okay.
We were organizing our 35th anniversary for the second time at the De Anza Hotel. And then I discovered that the Rainbow Chamber has their annual fundraiser that very same night. And so instead of worrying about it, I just called them.
Events?
I know. I called them and I said, hey, do you want to do your fundraiser at our event? And they were really happy because they hadn't found a venue yet.
Oh, well, and
see, another miracle.
Well, and that goes to, what I hear you say a lot, better together.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And that event is actually called Better Together. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. And then one of the other things that you've been doing out in the community is there's the Business of Pride.
Yes. Now, the Silicon Valley Business Journal has been reaching out to the LGBT community now for a while. In fact, they had the Business of Pride last year. And this year they have County Supervisor Ken Yeager speaking and some people from the high-tech companies, and also myself talking about what it's like to be LGBTQ in the workplace. Mm-hmm. What are the issues that we have faced? And we are three completely different kinds of work arenas. Mm-hmm. You've got County Board of Supervisor, first openly gay elected official. Now, what was that like?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting, yeah. And there'll be a lot of businesses there. And I just heard from the San Jose Sharks who want to do an LGBT night next year.
Oh, fun.
And we're going to be co-sponsors of that. So they're coming to the Business of Pride to meet everybody.
Oh, wonderful.
So a lot of wonderful things are happening in the community.
And the other event that you are participating in that's coming up is the double wedding at the Glass House in San Jose.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is, it sounds like this is going to be a hoot. And it's open to the public. The reception is open to the public.
Well, what it is Eugene, the owner of the Glass House, he and I started talking. He's been working with Pride to have a gay wedding. And I didn't know that they meant gay male wedding. But I immediately talked about, I know this lesbian couple that are getting married and they're having a hard time, being able to afford it. It'd be amazing for them to have it here. And Gene is crying away. He said, we've got to do it. And so anyway, we've got them. And then he said, oh my God, we're supposed to have a gay male couple. What do we do? And so I just said, why don't we have a double wedding? And he went, brilliant. Yes. Yeah. And I told him, why have people sneer at you about, why are you only having gay men getting married, or why are you only having lesbians get married? So why not have both?
Yeah, and I think it's a brilliant idea, and
he loves it. Oh, yes.
And the Glass House, of course, is a beautiful venue.
Yes.
And the fact that they've kind of made this into like a party en masse, that people could purchase tickets online to go to the reception and join in the festivities, I thought was just fabulous.
But not only that, if you have a ticket to Pride, which is that day on Sunday, August 28th, then you get into the wedding for free.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's always a great thing.
I know. I mean, it's just, in fact, Sunday, August 28th is going to be a long day. We're starting off with the Pride Parade, and that will start at 10 o'clock from St. John Street and Market and walk down to the festival. And then the festival will be from 11 to 6, and then the cocktail gay wedding will be at 6:30. Yeah.
It does make for a long day, and that's on top of a long weekend, because I believe the some of the Pride celebration stuff start Friday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yes, Saturday night they're having an EDM rave party on the Saturday night. So, boo.
Yeah, lots of things to do.
I know.
Oh,
I love it. Pride Month is always fabulous. I like it.
I said lots of activities.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, the other thing is, I know that you know, recently in San Jose they started, you know, the county committed some money to fund LGBTQ programs, and one of the things that you're doing is you're also talking to other nonprofits like Momentum for Mental Health about coming over to the center and actually working with the center to provide services at your location.
No, not quite that way.
Okay.
What we're doing is a couple of things. A lot of people got LGBT money to do services.
Mm-hmm.
We are a community center, so we actually don't provide services there, but I have asked a number of agencies, Momentum being one of them, if they would do an empowerment support group. You know, which is not really a service. It's not counseling or, you know, therapy or anything like that. But support groups are very important to us in our community. And I know they laughed when I said it to them that because we have lived with the dominant culture being quite negative toward us, we like to deny that we have issues. So sometimes if we had a therapeutic group, we may not go. But if there was an empowerment group or learning art and learning more about ourselves, we'll go to that. And then I said, and then if we have issues, they'll bubble up slowly.
Exactly.
And then the facilitator can refer us to the more therapeutic groups at their agency. So that's the purpose of connecting with service agencies, because, you know, it gives them a whole different way of getting referrals, and then we are able to expand the ability to support our community in a more empowering way.
Well, Gabrielle, you know, that is just fabulous. And I just love all the things that you are doing, both at the center and out in the community. If our viewers want to find out more information about all the wonderful things that you have going on at DeFrank, and all the new partnerships and relationships that you're building out in the community, where's the best place for them to find that?
Facebook.com/Billy DeFrank. We post constantly about what's going on. Our website, DeFrank.org is also another place you can find out what's going on. And we just reinstated our meetup. So you can join the Billy DeFrank Meetup group and find out everything that is happening on a regular basis. So that's really exciting as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gabrielle. It's been wonderful to have you on the show again. And I hope our viewers will be back and see the show again in our community. We should have like put the flag up in front of the camera. Here, just